Hey guys, today we're driving a 2016 BMW 435i. We have a winning formula in this car. It's rear-wheel drive, it has a 6-speed manual, and we have a twin-turbo inline 6 up front. Let's walk you around this thing and show you what it's all about. On the outside, it's pretty stock looking, and I think it looks pretty good. Back from an era when BMW actually made good-looking cars. This 435i is modified with a Dinan cold air intake, front mount intercooler, and a catback exhaust. It also has a downpipe and the Nostrum high pressure fuel pump. It's also tuned on an Ecutek for 93 and E85 flex fuel. Today we're running 93 octane because it's a little bit chilly outside. Nostrum Performance dynoed its stock and it made 247 wheel horsepower on 93 octane. Right now it's running on 93 and making 350 wheel horsepower with the modifications and tune. Equipped with Nostrum's Injectors, this will make 430 wheel horsepower on E75. You get a little bit of clutch slippage at that point because this is still the stock clutch, but it's pretty powerful. We're on winter tires today. It's getting pretty chilly out, so we'll definitely need them, but we're not going to have the handling sharpness that we would normally. These 435s make for very practical daily drivers. You get a great amount of trunk space, folding rear seats, and there's actually even a little bit of room in the back, which is great. I love this spec with the red leather interior. Let's take this thing for a drive and see what it's all about. Presents the seatbelt to me since this is a 2-door coupe. Oh yeah, this thing sounds fantastic. It's actually pretty cool driving this after getting some time in the Supra. I loved that car, but all it needed was a 6-speed manual, and here we have that formula. Despite all the bolt-ons, modifications, tune, this is still a wonderful daily driver. It pulls really hard. This thing comes on the boost. It's super satisfying. And it just sounds good too. Such a great chassis. The steering is light. I still have a good amount of communication through the wheel. It feels very well matched to the power level here. On stock suspension, and one thing that really impresses me about this car is just the ride quality. It's so soft and forgiving over bumps, and I'm sure the winter tires help a little bit with that, but it just feels great. It's a really nice ride handling balance. There's a sophistication to the suspension tuning that is just very right and well done. This car is surprisingly quick. It really creeps up on you. I'm not sure if it's boost by gear, but it kind of feels like it. Once you get into third, it really starts to hit hard. Dinan exhaust sounds great. It's subtle, but just enough tone. I noticed a little bit of drone on the highway above 80 miles an hour, but below that it's pretty livable. And with 44,000 miles on it, this thing still feels nice and tight. Pedals are well placed for heel-toe downshifts. Modifications here have really woken up this car, and this shifter is just a pleasure. Classic BMW, kind of rubbery, a longer throw, but just nice. The fun thing about these BMWs is that they're just fun to drive all the time. You can just be tooling around in traffic, shifting through the gears, and they're a really enjoyable car to drive and live with on a daily basis. But you can tune them and modify them so that they can really put out a lot of power. And this is a perfect example of that. This thing is properly quick. 375 wheel horsepower, not much is gonna breathe on you on the street, to be honest. There are some things that the Germans just get right, and the sport sedan, the sport coupe, is one of them. And this has just been brought to the next level, and it's really pretty nice to drive. I could listen to this inline six all day long. Comes on in this above 3,500 RPM. That's kind of where this car shines. Fifth, fourth gear on the highway. You can do some pretty awesome pulls in this. It's easy to drive. The power band is super smooth. This 6-speed is just a pleasure to row through the gears. The pedals are perfectly positioned for heel-toe downshifts. It's easy to rev match. Engine's still responsive. I can't believe how quickly boost comes on too. Can't believe how well damped the ride is. Large bumps, small bumps, undulations, rough pavement. It handles everything with a lot of grace and composure. And it's just a sophisticated suspension setup. It feels really nicely tuned for a stock vehicle. And I'm glad Nostrum hasn't really tinkered with it that much, because it feels really good and it's well matched to the amount of power that this has. This is also a good reminder of how much I like the rear-wheel drive versions of these 435s. When I first got into a 435, it was an X-Drive, it was an all-wheel drive, and I just didn't like the steering. I think the drivetrain felt a little bit muted. Yes, you're not going to get as much traction in the snow, but you throw a set of winter tires on here like we have today, and you should do just fine in most situations. And the car is so much more enjoyable to drive because of it. The steering is a little bit better. You get more feedback. There's less drivetrain loss. And I think it's just a more active and agile car. The chassis in this feels really, really good as a rear-wheel drive platform. And I think that's kind of the best way to do it. I feel similarly about 911s too. The two-wheel drive versions are just that much sweeter to drive all the time. And I don't really think you need all-wheel drive in a car like this. It puts its power down really well. It's sprung a little bit softer, and the suspension really gives you a lot of ability to put that power down to the rear wheels. This is a pretty compelling used car buy as well. I mean, people have compared these to the modern day versions of the Supra until the Supra came out again, and it was not far off from this. And there's a reason for that. They follow kind of the same philosophy. They have a very similar twin turbo inline six. It kind of sounds the same. And this one has a very healthy amount of power. It feels good. So you want everything to kind of work in harmony, and the power level here is really well matched to the chassis, and it's great to see that you can throw another 100 wheel horsepower at these things and it doesn't really phase them. A few bolt-ons and a tune and you've got a very, very quick daily. I like the little burble from the exhaust between shifts. A little bit unpredictable. Occasionally you get a nice little pop out of it. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, well I'd like to thank Nostrum for letting us get some time in their 435i project car. Very curious to see what this also feels like when it's on E85, on their injectors, maybe with an upgraded clutch in the spring, we'll see. But for now, this is a really, really nice all-round fun car to drive. We'll be doing some more videos with them later this year, and they have some pretty impressive stuff in their tuner car fleet. And if you guys are interested in learning more about what they do, check out their website. I'll put a link in the description in the top comment. And good people, good engineering, and they really put a lot of work into their products, and it shows in this car. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions about this in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.